everyone, welcome back to yet another live, and today I'm going to be talking about one of the most underrated organs in the body, that is the gallbladder. In a year, over 7 lakh gallbladder surgeries are done, out of which 40% of the people who undergo these surgeries come up with complications after their gallbladder has been removed. Now, let us understand that most of these surgeries are genuinely required, especially when you have gallstones which are obstructing your bile duct. You definitely need the surgery, but sometimes the surgery is unnecessarily done because we believe that the gallbladder is not a very important organ. But you will be surprised to know that the gallbladder has got a lot of important functions when it comes to losing weight, when it comes to digestion and breaking down of fat, when it comes to breaking down omega essential fatty acids and a lot of other vitamins and minerals. Now, gallbladder is the organ that stores bile, and bile is what is required to break down and to digest fats. The second function of bile is to promote the gut flora, especially in the small intestine. Now, the liver is the organ that produces bile, and from the liver, the bile travels into the gallbladder, and the gallbladder is the organ which stores and concentrates bile. Now, from the gallbladder, the bile will trickle down into the small intestine. And when does this release of bile into the small intestine happens? Every time we eat some food. Now, let us understand with a small demonstration. Now, this is a detergent. Alright, and this detergent or any of our detergents and soaps are all water soluble and fat soluble. Similarly, your bile is also water soluble and fat soluble. This is oil. So this will signify the fat in our food. Now, what does the bile do to the fat? Now, let us see. So I'm going to put a little bit of detergent into this, into the oil. That is the fat. So I'm going to put some detergent in it and we'll see what happens. So if you see, the detergent has broken down the oil into small particles. So this is what bile does. So, and this process of breaking down the fat into small particles is known as emulsification. So this is what your bile does in the body and why it is so important. So the concentrated bile is both water soluble and fat soluble, and it will break down the fat or emulsify it so that it can easily be absorbed by the small intestine. Right? Now, what happens when we do not have this concentrated bile? What happens when our gallbladder is removed? Well, it is very difficult for the body to digest fats. That is something that we need to understand. Secondly, breaking down omega essential fatty acids, that is omega 3, omega 6, and also other fat soluble vitamins like vitamin D, vitamin E, vitamin K, and also vitamin A is very, very difficult for the body. Now, what do we do? Once we've already removed our gallbladders, there are a few things that you need to keep in mind, and you definitely need a few lifestyle changes. One, stop overeating, because every time you eat, the liver is forced to push out that bile into the small intestine, and this bile that is not concentrated will be produced in a larger quantity when you overeat. Alright, so eat smaller meals, not really very frequent, say after every 3.5 hours or 4 hours, but do not overeat at any meal. Second, your food has to have the right kind of fat and the right quantity of fat. Now, what are the right kind of fats, or what are the good fats that you can include in your diet? Nuts, seeds, ghee. Try and see that every meal there is ghee in it. So at least 1 teaspoon of ghee in each meal is a must. Alright, so try and see that ghee is there. Second, use all your virgin or cold pressed oils. Do not use the refined oils. It could be any variety of oil, but not the refined ones. Try and see that you use cold pressed oils or pressed oils like coconut, groundnut, sesame seed, mustard oil. These are perfect oils for you when you have undergone a gallbladder surgery. The next thing that you should be doing is adding a lot of fiber to your diet. Now, when you say high fiber, it does not mean only oats or only high fiber cookies or high fiber biscuits. Those are processed and they have a lot of refined flour in them and refined oils in them. So try and see that you have homemade, home cooked food like your chapatis, which are also high in fiber, your dosa, idli, uttapa, rice, your fruits, vegetables, all home cooked, are very high in fiber. One of the fruit that you can start your day with always is the banana. The banana is a very high fiber fruit and it's got high potassium in it, which will help in digestion as well. So these are things that you should keep in mind. So people who have their gallbladders removed usually suffer from a lot of bloating. They'll suffer from a lot of gas, burping, belching, and also sometimes constipation. Now the constipation happens because the bile, the concentrated bile, will line the gut and will actually help you to have a smooth stool. But because you do not have that good concentrated bile after your gallbladder has been removed, sometimes you can undergo a little bit of constipation. So keep these tips in mind. DM me if you have any more questions. So this is what you need to follow if your gallbladder has been removed. Small meals, do not overeat, include a lot of fiber, your home cooked food, and the right amount of fat and the right type of fat that is going to be digested by your system. So get in touch with me. Thank you so much for joining in. I will see you next Friday, same time. Bye bye.